Not only does David Campbell Lester love money today, he has always loved money and the freedom that it buys. Everything from horseback riding lessons to dream cars and fabulous holidays. He's worked at Merrill Lynch, BMO Financial Group, and BMO Nesbitt Burns. He is currently a professional financial coach, president of DCL Capital, and author of I Love Money. It is my pleasure to welcome David Campbell Lester to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Thank you very much for having me.
I love money too.
That's something that we both have, and I think a lot of people actually do.
Who doesn't love money? Let me think.
Yeah, exactly. And the market just right now, when you look at the news, and we're all talking about these corrupt bankers that have just happened, and then there's these Ponzi scams that are happening right now. I just thought it was a great time to come out with a new perspective where everyone's being so negative, expecting a big crash of the market, even after we've had one in 2008, that I just wanted to show the opposite side of that coin, that it can be great. I always say that it's a fuel to our lives.
A little meltdown in Greece and other countries, but who cares?
No, we'll keep moving ahead, and we've always had that throughout time. And if you treat money like a relationship, that's what I always say in the book. And in a human relationship, we have ups and downs as well. And you just have to hold through. You trust it, you respect it, you know it's going to be there for you. And then in the long run, like a relationship, it flourishes. You
also say in I Love Money that you can tell about somebody's personal relationships if you look at their relationship with money.
It's true.
How so?
A lot of times, and I have a chapter on dating, and when you see how the other person treats money, if they respect it or if they disrespect it, a lot of times they'll disrespect you as the relationship goes on. Or if they're always late, if you look at their credit card statements, and almost guaranteed I can tell you they miss payments as well. So the way that people treat money really reflects the way that they see themselves and how they're going to treat you.
You also say when you're on a date, the first question often is, what do you do and where do you live?
That's right. And that's how, basically dating is kind of evolved right now. And if you really tap into someone who shares the same money values with you, I think it'll flourish into your entire relationship. So if you know that the person wants to use money to be able to travel, then they probably have a great sense of freedom. So you can really, there's a lot of insight behind how they spend their money, and if you both share the same values, then you guys will flourish together.
Well, we all know money does not buy happiness. We do know it buys freedom. Do you think anyone can make money? Almost anyone can make money?
Absolutely. And the key point, and this is when I was a banker for a long time, we would always talk to our clients with dollars and cents. But most people don't understand dollars and cents. They really understand values, and they understand motivations and what they want to do with the money. So the very first part of my book is just discovering, sit down with a coffee and decide what you want in life, really where you want to travel, what you want to do, how you want it to be, and then that's when money should come in. So every banking conversation should start with what you want to do with the money and how you want to live your life.
So dream.
Yeah.
Dream big, how big? Or dream small or dream practical?
Yeah, that totally depends on the individual. So just dream. That's the most important one, is just dream and decide exactly where you want to go and why you want to do the things that you want to do or have the things that you want to have. And I make the comparison also with shopping. So a lot of times we'll be buying really expensive shoes, like people who overspend. Sometimes you buy expensive clothing, you want to be dripping in Prada. And if you step back a little bit and understand, why do I really want to be dripping in Prada? Like, what is it about the Prada what does it give me? How does it make me feel? Is it respect or is it leadership that I'm looking for? So in the book, I have a plan where you actually satisfy the value first. So if you're looking for leadership, you can volunteer on a community board or, help out whatever you need to do to satisfy that value. And then when you've done it, when you've achieved the goal that was on your list, then you satisfy yourself with the fierce shoes. And then when you're walking in the shoes, you've actually achieved something, and there's a win-win situation. And you have to pay cash, of course. You can't just go and spend them.
I read that. You say a money clip is really sexy.
That's right.
So if you can wean yourself off your credit cards or pay off your credit cards every month.
Yep, that's right. And when you actually put your life into a plan, and you're like, these are the things I want, and I know why they're going to make me happy, you stop spending on, because you're on a track, so you stop spending on miscellaneous items. And every dollar, because you know exactly what you want and you've prioritized them, so $50 to a sweater that I'm bored and I want to buy it, or I've had a bad day at work, or I just got dumped or whatever, that $50 when you reassess can actually go to an amazing trip in Greece maybe with your grandma who grew up there, and something that really will mean something to you. So you stop spending on miscellaneous items, and your money again becomes a fuel for your life.
Well, none of us want to die having gone to the shoulda, woulda, coulda school.
That's right.
So your grandmother, did she give you advice? Did your grandfather give you advice? Where did it all start for you, money-wise?
Yeah, it was, my Nana was great with money, and so my parents were as well. But there was, for whatever reason, I think when I was a kid, I could see that money provided freedom, or it just provided options for the people who had it versus kind of everyone else. And when I was a kid, everyone else would want to be Robin Hood, and I always wanted to be the Sheriff of Nottingham. And so I'd go around and I'd tax collect from all my stuffed animals, and then I'd roll them watching the Looney Tunes, and what 5-year-old is like rolling coins watching Looney Tunes? And then when I get a little bit older, I could see that, okay, so the money, I've got that part understood. And then I started to understand the stock market. And I had mutual funds, and they were like properly diversified. And back then you had to take from the paper, like the daily market values, and actually plug them into your software program. And I was like 9, and I'd have them charted, and I'd be charting them daily, on their balances.
Your first word was penny, someone said.
Yep,
then you carried around money in the Crown Royal bag.
I did, that's right, when I was the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yes, when you were the Sheriff of Nottingham. And was your dad in the finance business?
No,
your mom
he wasn't.
in the finance business?
Not at all. My mom was a
taught
teacher.
Music or something.
Yeah, my mom's a music teacher, and my dad grew up working for Public Works. So, it just kind of started from there, like just from my own kind of sense of it leading to options and freedom.
Well, someone told me once, no one cares more about your money than you do.
It's true,
and no one should care more. So don't just give it away and expect somebody else to take care of it.
That's right. Exactly. Or at least, like, if you have an advisor, sit down with them. There's no other, when they're making the decision for you. It's so important. There's no other area of our life that we just completely outsource to someone. And so many times with my own clients, people will come in and they'll say, oh, I get my statements, but I put them in the sock drawer, or they don't even look at them. And that's the worst thing you can do. And there's no other area of life, if you think of like, our spirituality or our health and fitness, we don't just do what someone tells us to do and totally, we're absent from all the decisions. So.
Or your financial advisor says you should have an RRSP from the time you're 18 and you believe it, rather than doing the math for you.
That's
and
exactly
that you point
right.
this out in here. Or RRSP, not a bad vehicle, but there are others.
There are
other ways, like what?
There's TFSAs as well. So one thing with
tax-free savings.
That's right, the tax-free savings accounts. And there's also a scenario where you can, depending on, and it depends on the individual, so be sure to talk to your financial planner about this. But if you are self-employed and you can keep your money outside of your RSP, and you collect dividends, I talk about that in the book, they're tax preferred in Canada and the US. And so when you get your dividend payments, you don't have to make quite as large of an amount to still live the same way. Where inside an RSP, if you have dividend stocks, when they come out, when you retire, they're fully taxed, like their income. So if you actually have one stock outside your RSP and one inside your RSP, and when you're collecting the income from it, one will be taxed much more heavily when it comes out of your RSP. So make sure you do the numbers like you were just talking about and see which one's right for you, because for a lot of people sometimes it doesn't make sense if you don't have solid salary and high salary to put your entire savings into your RSP.
Right, and you don't need the tax break. Or if you took that money and put it into land, the right piece of land or the right piece of art, who knows? Yeah,
it's true. It's very true. And we look at money just in silos, so you have your banker, and your banker doesn't know anything that the broker's doing. And then you have your real estate people, and it shouldn't be like that. And there's no other area of life that's like that either. It's like it should be one whole picture, and it is like fuel or energy. Money is fuel like energy, and it touches all areas of our life, and we have to look at it holistically.
We also have to take the emotion out of money.
That's true, and just make it as a step, or it's a vehicle to get you to where you want to go. And a lot of times we take on the value system around money that our parents had. So if our parents were bad with money, or if they always fought, those are your earliest memories.
I thought there was never enough.
Oh yeah, or
From
that.
the time you're eating your little Farley's biscuit, and they
That's
say,
right.
we can't pay the rent, there's never enough, turn the lights out, and you almost absorb that poverty mentality.
It's true. And when you have your own money, it's not conscious, on an unconscious level, you're thinking, there was so much pain and negativity around it that it just passes on to it, and then you don't want to deal with it.
Money's dirty. Money's not good.
That's right. And when it comes to you, just want to get rid of it again because you have this negative association with it.
You have many heroes. I know one was Julius Caesar.
Yep.
Why?
I always say that money should, because again, we're talking about growing yourself as an individual. And if you look at your money situation as an empire, it's the same thing. You're expanding, you're growing, your money is going to be able to help you fuel, your growth, your individual growth, do the things that you want to do. And I think it's a good way to think of your money as like an empire where you try continuously, you respect it, you solidify it, you look at your downside risk, and you continuously, move forward.
Also simplify, I would think, is in there somewhere. Simplify your financial life.
That's right. It doesn't.
How?
It doesn't have to be super complicated. So a lot of times with money, even with our rent. So a lot of times, rent comes out of our mortgages come out of our account, right? And they just go, we don't even think about them. Our savings should be exactly the same way. So, our retirement should be set up, our goals that we want to do that year are set up, all of our payments, you can have all of your fixed costs, I talk about it in the book, going onto a credit card, and then you can actually get your bank, so you charge everything to the card, and then your bank will pay it off, and you know how much it'll be at the end of the year because you've added up all of your costs, or at the end of the month because you've added up all your monthly costs, and you do two things. The first thing is you continuously build credit, because for your card you're like charging and then paying off, charging and paying off. And you also will get, the points or the cash back at the end of the year. You're more a fan of cash back than you are points. I am. I've crunched all the numbers again because I'm into my money. I love my money. And when you do crunch all the numbers, cash back is the best way to go in my scenario. Why? You look at, first of all, you pay $120 or $150 for the card for those point cards, depending if you get a gold one or not. And then when you actually buy the ticket, you'll notice that they've added all these fees. So in the book, I have a flight to Calgary that I calculate, and I pay $120 a year, and then I had to charge, $20,000 a year. And if you look at that $20,000 with points, if I had just saved 10% of it and not spent it, because I was dropping that card so many times to spend $20,000,
right, I'd have groceries on the card. Yeah,
if you just have your fixed cost, it's fine. But if you're using it for everything, it's so easy to think, oh, points. I'm going to pick up this dinner, and then I'm getting these points. But if you need to spend $20,000 for a flight, if you just use cash and you can cut down on your miscellaneous spending, and if you can just cut 10%, it's $2,000. I can fly first class to Calgary.
And also trying to use your points, you know what that's like. The flexibility factor isn't all that great.
Exactly.
Most plans anyway.
Yeah.
If you want to go on Thursday, they say, no seats till next Thursday. You say, well, I'm working next Thursday.
That's right.
Can't do it. When we come back, we'll talk about you in university, what you did in university to make money because you love money.
That's right.
It's in a heart-shaped money. David Campbell Lester, our guest.